After seeing Monster Hunter Stories 3 Twisted Reflection getting a March 2026 release date, I decided to play the first 2 games of the series. As a huge Capcom fan, I was really surprised not to have played these charming spin-offs before. In today's video, I'll be talking about the first game. Monster Hunter Stories is a Pokemon-like RPG spin-off from the main game series Monster Hunter. Developed by Capcom and Marvelous, this addicting adventure first released back in 2016 on the Nintendo 3DS. I never took notes of it until Monster Hunter Stories 2 got released on PC with a demo, so my only experience with this series is the demo I have played for about 1 hour of the second game. Like I always say, I'm a massive Capcom fan, and I love all of their games since 2017's Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. So to not play Monster Hunter Stories games from them, especially the second one, was a disappointment for me. After the reveal of the third game, I immediately picked up the bundle that featured the first 2 games on the PS5, so the gameplay you'll see for Monster Hunter Stories 1 is the HD remastered version that is running on the base PS5. If you have noticed, I mentioned addicting, and yes, the gameplay in this game is super addicting and most importantly fun. It is a Pokemon-like RPG, so mostly you will be battling monsters in a turn-based combat system. I'm gonna say, apart from Pokemon, I'm not a big turn-based guy. I have tried so many times, but I just couldn't get into them. I pushed through Final Fantasy games, and yes, the gameplay in those games are really fun, but mostly it was for the characters and the story. So when I saw that Monster Hunter Stories was a turn-based game, I was a little hesitant. But luckily for me, it is similar to Pokemon, which is a turn-based gameplay I like the most. The mechanics are simple enough to understand, yet fun to master. You will go into battles with your monsters. Sorry, monsties. Yes, in this game they are called monsties because they are monsters and your bestie. Really, that's the explanation. For only the monsters that are in your party, that is. So you can battle it out with you, your monstie, and enemy monsters. Each character gets a turn to attack and there are a variety of skills you can pull off. Your character has multiple weapons to choose from, multiple skills to pull off, and right the monsties. There are even attack types that are used in head-to-head clashes, where technical beats speed, speed beats power, and power beats technical. This way the whole gameplay feels fresh and addicting to play. Like I said, it is simple enough to get into it. What I appreciate about this remaster is that I don't know if it was on the original game, the option to speed up the battles, so I was just cruising through them. As you play against these enemies more, the more you will learn about their patterns. Like the mainline Monster Hunter games. Some monsters switch their attack style, so you got to memorize what they will be using in their next attack. These monsters also have weaknesses and strengths to elements again like the mainline games. So they basically took what made Pokemon so addicting and smashed it with Monster Hunter, and I gotta say, it works quite well. One of the core gameplay loops in Monster Hunter Story is all about finding and hatching monster eggs, and honestly this is where the game hooked me the most because it was like catching Pokemons. Instead of just battling monsters, you head into monster dens, explore these small areas and search for their nests. Each egg you collect has its own traits, like different colors, patterns, and even a certain weight and smell that hint at the quality of the monster inside. It gave off this small thrill of excitement every time I picked up an egg. You never know if you're going to hatch a strong monster or one that is not up to standards. If you don't like the monster, then you can always release them back into the wild. If you do, however, they become your monstie and you can use them in battles, complete side quests, or just have them in your party to level up their stats. On top of that, the game still borrows from its mainline roots with weapon crafting. Just like in the traditional series, you gather materials from monsters you fought and use them to forge new weapons and armor. It's not as deep or grind heavy as the main Monster Hunter titles, but it does a good job of keeping that familiar loop alive. You still got the iconic weapon types, the great sword, sword and shield, hammer, hunting horn, and so on, each with their own strengths and weaknesses. And because the battles are turn-based rather than action-heavy, choosing the right weapon becomes a more strategic layer rather than just pure reflex. One quality of life mechanic I liked was that you can switch your weapons and armor on the go, so you don't have to go back to the base camp, just open the setting menu while exploring and just change them. I really loved it as it made the game flow better. Also, being able to change the monstie that you ride on the fly was a very nice touch. There's also the gene system. Every monster you hatch has a set of genes arranged in a grid, and these determine its abilities, stats, and elemental affinities. You can transfer genes from one monster to another through a process called the rite of channeling. This means you can take a skill from one monstie and pass it on to another, creating completely custom builds. And the way the monstie changes appearances was really cool. The whole system almost feels like a puzzle. Lining up matching genes in rows unlock bonus powers, so I felt encouraged to experiment and create my own combinations. It is surprisingly deep and it adds a lot of replayability since you'll always be hunting for that perfect egg to squeeze out one more useful gene. Altogether, I found the gameplay really nicely balanced between being approachable and still giving you enough layers to get good at it. The map in this game is quite generous with a lot of areas that are interconnected with loading screens. The details aren't there even if it's a remaster. Don't forget though, it is still a DS game. But the contrast of areas being different to one another was helpful for my eyes, otherwise I would have been sick of looking at the same area for a long time with those monster footsteps noises slowly getting on my nerves. The performance on the PS5 was good and never stuttered, no frame drops or bugs, which I was happy about. Like every Monster Hunter game, there's also a story in this one. The narrative of Monster Hunter stories is one of its strongest aspects to me, even if at first glance it seems to be aimed more at children. The story begins in a small village where riders live in harmony with their monsties, raising and bonding with them rather than hunting them as traditional hunters do. And that aspect was interesting for me, how different people and cultures adapted to monsters. One group of people hunted them and the other befriended them. It sets up a simple but heartwarming friendship and the importance of coexisting with nature. Right away, that gives the game a more light-hearted tone compared to the darker themes of the mainline Monster Hunter games. While the plot is really straightforward, it is still easy to follow for all ages, and as an adult, I thought it was charming. Early on in the story, your village is attacked by a mysterious black light that corrupts monsters, turning them violent. After this tragedy, you set out on a journey to stop the blight, uncover its origins, and restore balance to the world. And along the way, you meet colorful characters and travel through different regions. Like I said, simple yet effective. The writing balances some cheerful moments with enough stakes to keep you invested. Yes, the villains can be predictable and the twists are not groundbreaking, but the pacing keeps you engaged. And the game never tries to be something it's not, and I really like that. The dialogue can be annoying and cringe at times, but I need to keep reminding myself that this is also made for children. Still saying that though, there are many kid-friendly projects in the entertainment industry that did a better job than this. Characters like Navaroo, the goofy feline companion, lean heavily into that Saturday morning cartoon style of humor, and the voice got on my nerves pretty quickly.
I'm forgetting my manners. I should introduce myself first, huh? I am a wandering feline hero outside this village, right?
But you're a rider. The rider's code, remember?
Yeah, come on! I bet even Chief Omna thinks that's a clawful rule.
Your creator character main character doesn't talk, so all the talking is done by the feline. Even though he did get on my nerves, at least his little run is very cute. And the rest of the characters do a fine job that I just turn off my brain at times and just enjoyed the ride. So, overall, Monster Hunter Stories is an enjoyable ride. The combat is fun enough for me to get good at it and master the gameplay system. Even if I was complaining a lot, I still did enjoy this little game, and I am glad Capcom has done a different take on the Monster Hunter formula. The kid-friendly tone and the cringe dialogue just made me switch off my brain, but at the end of the day, it was charming. The combat was fun, finding monsties was addicting, but this game is definitely outdated. Next, I'll be playing the second game, so hopefully that is better. I think it is from what I've seen, and I can't wait for the third one as it looks to have a more grown-up tone to it. My score for Monster Hunter Stories is a 7.5 out of 10. What do you think of Monster Hunter Stories? Did you play it when it came out? Or did you wait for it to be released on modern consoles like me? Let me know down below. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see everyone on the next video.